Hello, everyone. One of these days, I promise, I'm going to have like a naturally flowing intro because, like, usually when a show opens up, you hear like the countdown things happening. Now I know where it's like blah, 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 and the theme song happens and they say the name of the show and then I finally appear, but I don't have that kind of production value ready yet. What I do have is an excitement for this show. Welcome to Wax and Wax, episode 3. Yeah, hello, Ash said hi. Funny thing is, people are already here because it turns out our guests raided the channel earlier, offline, which I thought that was a gone technique. I thought I was done so. And Ellie was like, nah, let me show you the secret tech. So now I have the secret tech. So guess what? People are getting raided offline. I'm not going to tell you how that's it's the secret tech. If I tell you, it's not the secret tech. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ash said hi. Welcome to the stream, everyone else too. And thank you to anybody who's watching this on VOD as well. So if you happen to be watching from, I don't know, any other kind of website, I won't say the names, you all are privy to locations you can go to watch their content. But if you're watching on there in VOD format, thank you for watching there too. Might have an AMA later on. So guess what? If you were here live, you could take part in the AMA. Very special guest today, Elliejoypanic. We'll get to that momentarily. In case you weren't here last time, we had Ray Apollo, Twitch staffer Ray Apollo, who was in here talking about anime, which, I mean, I know what you're thinking, maybe like, haha, say some jokes. I have no jokes. I love anime. I have manga. I have manga and anime, and I love both. So Ray was 10 toes down, and so was I. But it was a great time and a great show, and people were like saying, when's the next Wax on Wax? And I was like, I don't know, I got to organize guests. And I did. I organized a guest. And so I could sit here and talk for a while, and I'm the host. I mean, look, there's me right there. There's my information. Twitch ambassador, likes shepherd's pie, loves shepherd's pie. Dislikes Maalox, I don't. It's chalky, doesn't taste good. Pepto-Bismol, though, I will fake sickness as a kid to get me some Pepto. Bet facts on that. But our special guest, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you what it is. I made this, by the way. I made this. So I guess future guests are also going to have their own highlight reel. But our special guest is going to be Elliejoypanic. Take a look.
Look at the hood. So that wasn't as bad as I was anticipating it being. I remember. Oh god, skin. We're gonna go pound the pumpkin. Look at this wonky stack of rocks.
Battery 80%.
Did you all hear that?
Hello! Elliejoypanic, who is being pushed to the stream right now because I'm a professional. Look at that. Ta-da, we did it. Yay. Video games. How are you, Ellie?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I have no complaints. Ignore the background video. I know you can hear it. They can't. But welcome to the show. Welcome to Wax on Wax episode 3. You're the star of the show. Yeah. And thanks for bringing your people in here too. What do you call your crew?
Team Panic, because it's just, we're in a permanent state of panic just in general, like over various different things.
That fits the whole mode of Elliejoypanic. And so you just have an entire team dedicated to panicking together.
Yep, exactly.
So is it hard to maintain composure during really important game moments, like during, I don't know, Dark Souls bosses?
I mean, not often. I'm not the most composed person just in general. Like the panic comes through very quickly. So my name is like one of those weird things that it was just a coincidence that it fits so perfectly with the joy and the panic. But yeah.
I like the way it's with the joy and the panic.
Yeah.
Two sides to everything. I saw a bit of that too, because when I was looking in different parts of your VOD to make the little compilation video, one thing that I saw that I was like, oh my gosh, I see the joy and the panic. The joy that I saw, which was not presented in that video, was you being the Orphan of Kos in Bloodborne's DLC, The Old Hunters, which I've been there. So I know what that's like.
That was without leveling.
Oh, you went in raw?
those VODs, if you found that, that was I beat the game and all the DLC without leveling. That was nearly 2 years ago now, like 2 years ago next month, because I finished it the day that I got partnered on Twitch. It was very strange. Like it was all the things at once. So,
You were having a
yeah.
dynamite day then.
Yeah, it was a killer week. I also got my back fully, like my whole back tattooed as well. Like at the same time, there was so much happening then.
What order did it go in? What came first and what came last out of those three?
I finished my BL4,
Okay.
applied for Twitch partner, and then the following day went to get tattooed and saw the email in my inbox as I was getting in the car to go get my tattoo. So it was like a full combo. Like it was a chaotic week.
That's a great day too. And the VOD too was really nice because it happens so clutch. I should have brought the video, but Orphan of Kos did one tomahawk chop as you were saying, don't get greedy. And I'm like, oh, I know what that's like. And you just chopped away and you got the last head in as they got their last head in and your health went down to that.
Yeah, it was attempt number 696.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was 3 weeks of streams, 11 streams total. It got to the point where I was doing phase 1 and I could just like read chat while I was doing it because I'd got that comfortable. So yeah.
I've found that a lot of Soulsborne games are like that. I have this discussion all the time with people about how there's so many different play styles that, for example, me, when I played and fought Lawrence, the first Vicar, and Ludwig, they both took me 80 to 90 attempts. I think it was 86 for one and 83 for the other. But Orphan of Kos, I beat my 6th try.
I'm gonna probably make you hate me and probably end this stream right here. I beat Ludwig first try.
No way!
My very first attempt, I wasn't over leveled or anything. I just went in and I just smashed his face in. BL4, obviously it took a lot longer. He was my first like major wall in my no leveling run. But yeah,
that must have felt so good.
Lawrence took me a lot longer as well. Lawrence and Orphan were my 2 hardest, I think, on my first ever run of Bloodborne. So yeah.
You know what's most upsetting about that too, about hearing that, is that the first time that I saw phase 2 when he pulls out the sword and he's talking to it and waxing, like I did that, and phase 2 for me was easy. I'm like, oh, all I gotta do is just get to phase 2, and I just couldn't do it.
Yes.
For you to just see it and
get there again,
right? And the best part is like it's a really beautiful moment, and you only saw it once. Like, oh, what a cool sword! Oh, I won! Oh well.
Yeah.
There's the lore.
Yeah. I mean, it was 100+ attempts on my BL4, so I definitely saw it a lot on that run.
Well, that's the joy portion. Now, the panic portion. I did see a couple of clips of you fighting one Lord of Cinder, where you were fighting really well, and you went to backdash, and you did my favorite, the Soulsborne classic, which is you backdash, roll into wall, go up wall, and Lord of Cinder's like, oh, funny thing is, my hitbox will extend out right there. So, and you said...
Yeah.
I think I'm done playing this fucking game forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Gwyn was a nightmare. Yeah. Gwyn made me hate Dark Souls 1.
Yep.
And I've grown to like it again, but Gwyn was like, no, I never want to play this game again.
I definitely know that feeling. But that's the joy, that's the panic. The tattoo week is sensational to hear about that. But more importantly, let's hear about you. Let's talk about you. Give us some deets.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm Elliejoypanic if you don't know me. She, her pronouns. I'm a full-time streamer, but I mostly like focus on charity fundraising and mutual aid fundraising. So most of my streams are either doing the fundraisers, winding up for them, or ramping down from them. So yeah, I play all sorts of different stuff, but mostly have kind of like niched myself into hard and soft games. So it'll be like Planet Zoo and like chilling out with like Spyro the Dragon or like Dwarf Romantic or something, or I'm doing Sekiro randomizers. There's like no real in between. So
you're just doing the EKG. You're just going up and down. You want peaks and valleys.
Yeah. It's nice because then I'll have these like majorly stressful streams, and then it will go to like just, oh yeah, we're gonna chill in our pajamas with like blankets and hot drinks, and you know, it's the way to go.
So you can't chill in your pajamas and have hot drinks while playing Dark Souls?
Yeah, but there's a certain level of like you need to be with it, you know, you need to be ready and focused, and it's a lot. I get very sweaty.
I understand. I put off Old Hunters for quite some time, but my stream likes seeing me do Soulsborne content. And
Yeah.
there are times when you play that game and it's genuinely not stressful because you have a feel for it. You're chatting with your chat, having a good time, and then something will just happen. It just changes the entire mood. I think I was going through that little
sounds
fisherman's
lovely.
wharf town where there's like giant crows down there, and
Yeah.
I'm walking along this riverbed to reach there, and I see this rowboat in the distance, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can walk over to that. And I just step out of bounds, drown, and I swear that fall lasted forever, according to the clip.
Yep.
But that was the moment where I went
You
from
sit in stunned silence, like,
yes. How else can you react? You're just miserable.
yep.
And speaking of reactions too, I have this thing. I have a new session here. Okay, I have a new thing here called Explain. Explain this. And the way it works is I'm going to show a clip from your stream, and all I want you to do is just explain this. So we have this right here.
I mean, I don't even know if this really needs explaining too much, to be honest. Like,
What is this game?
this is Toem. This is a game about photographing different things, and you have to like pad out your little journal that you're doing and capture all these different areas and characters and moments and stuff to solve quests and things and try and find the color in the world. And this was the seagull sandwich work which I sat and watched for quite some time.
I just managed to find the clip of this. And I had to trim it down because you did sit here, even in the clip, the entire time just watching these birds celebrate this sandwich.
Yeah, because it's perfect. It's great. It's who wouldn't want to watch seagulls looking at a sandwich?
And the dislike section of your portion of profile says olives, and look at that, olive around top of the sandwich. How long do they do this? Do you just stay there and they keep doing it?
Yeah, they'll do it forever until you have to. There's a honk mechanic. You have to honk at them to scare them away to get a
All right.
sandwich. So they will just do it forever.
You have to honk at them to get away from the sandwich. That's really funny. Okay,
Play Toem if you haven't. It's fantastic.
I have no choice but to do so now. You properly explained this. You're the first guest to have explained this, and you explained this. Well done.
Thank you.
We can move on then. This is the fun portion of the stream. At least I think it's the fun portion of the stream. And the way it's going to work out is we just have a series of questions because this is Wax on Wax. We get to know the creator. That's you, Elliejoypanic. And then we just go in and discuss, the vinyl world. So first question, what is your vinyl setup? You know what I mean? Like what turntable you're using? Where do you keep it situated? You got a speaker setup you're looking to run with? What's the cabling like? What's your vinyl setup?
I do not have one. I am very much just a collector. And my partner gives me all sorts of he berates me about this because he's like, why do you keep buying vinyls when you don't have a player? I think they're really pretty, and maybe I'll get a player one day, and if y'all have any suggestions, I'm more than open to them. But yeah, currently they are beautiful pieces of artwork and kind of a collection of memories for me almost. So yeah, I don't have a vinyl turntable or anything.
I
So-
want to look disgusted, but to be honest, someone else already got that reaction out of me years ago when someone else told me I don't have a player, and they got the disgusted look because I've learned since then, some people, it's funny about the vinyl world. Some do it for the quality and the value of the music that comes with it. Some do it from memory. Some people do it because they just like the way it looks as an Art Deco piece. They have their vinyls on display in their home and literally no player. And that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
And that's okay too. Do you keep them sealed up or do you open them up to look at the gatefolds and things like that?
It depends on the vinyl.
Okay.
There's a few that I've opened because I've wanted to see the actual vinyl itself. And some of them I've kept. It sounds really bad. I learned when I was about 15, 16 the value of keeping things sealed. So there's a couple that I still
Is there
have
a story
sealed.
behind that or?
The story is that I had the Swan Song JRPG trio on the Wii of Xenoblade Chronicles Collector's Edition.
Ooh.
the Pandora's Tower special edition and the Last Story special edition, and I traded in everything but Xenoblade for about £15
Sounds about right.
to
Yeah.
buy something else. And now I know not to do that sort of stuff just for a quick couple of dollars, because that entire collection together is worth about $800 to $1,000 now. So yeah, it's yeah, I keep some sealed.
I've been down that road before. I understand it. Like I've been in my places before where I'm like, you know what, I just gotta make ends meet, and I have resources. I mean, when people ask about your net worth and your liquid value, that's what they're referring to, your assets. And I'm like, well, I gotta pay rent this week, or someone's gotta eat, so I guess I'll just take this prize collection item I have, and the third-party resale shop is like, oh, I can make a lot of money off that. You can't though, which is why I'm offering you this much. And I'm like, well, that'll cover it. And then you think to yourself, all I gotta do is just make it. I'll just buy it back later when I'm back in better proceeds. And then and then I go back to buy it back, and it is not in buyback range any longer.
Yep. Yeah. It was, yeah. I learned very quickly not to do that kind of thing. And I just hang on to stuff now. And I don't have that much stuff anymore, because it was like the original collector's editions of them with the art books and the steel books and everything. And I was like, I didn't like these games. I'm gonna trade them in.
Let's give her to ask about the impact that Xenogears had on you, maybe, or Xenosaga.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, I still have the Xenoblade one. I still got the controller and everything. I don't have the box anymore because everything's battered. It's like one of my most played games. So, you know, it's that still exists. It's here with me in America. I brought it with me. It's that precious to me. But yeah, the others, they are long gone. They were traded in like, I don't even know how long ago, like 10, 15 years ago they were gone. So yeah. No,
maybe someone else who doesn't have a vinyl setup has them right now too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
How much time do you think it'll be before you get into a vinyl setup? You're not in a hurry, or just whenever it happens kind of thing?
I think probably next time I move house. Because right now I could set one up and I could have it in here, but I don't spend much time in my studio with my headphones off. So I'm like, if I had one in the living room, I'd have to make space for it. And like, my partner is big into Pokemon TCG and Warhammer. So that takes over a lot of space in our living room and dining room area. So if I was to get a vinyl setup, it would have to be, I'd have to clear some plants out the way. My plants are the things that are mine in there. So yeah, it would probably be when we move house next, when we've got a bit more space and I can have like a dedicated area and I can like set them all out and stuff. And yeah.
That sounds so complimentary to me though. Like I'm imagining a space that has your table set up where you can do your trading card, or you can do your Warhammer setups for your big Warhammer fights with your friends, surrounded by potted plants, or regular plants, or hanging plants, and then out of nowhere, you just hear beautiful music you can set up anywhere. That sounds gorgeous. Like, if you move house, I would still want that to be all in one room. Like, no sacrifices.
Yeah. It's just finding, like, I want to get like a big sideboard and like a bottle of whiskey on it, and then the vinyl like set up with them out so you can browse through them and stuff, and then you open it up and it's got all the board games and the jigsaw puzzles and stuff. And that is like, and I kind of have that in my current space, but it's a small unit because we only have so much space in an apartment. So it's when I have like a dedicated dining room that I can put it in, you know. So
it's a very like Getty Images moment, you know, like an old jazz soul who's just in a room with the cocktail display and then the records and one plant, and you just see him on the cover like this.
Yeah, one of those hanging lamps over the top as well, and like we have the reading chair, we have the footstool, like the pieces are there. We've just got to have the space for it.
You're gonna have the best going live photos ever in this next generation of housing. It's gonna look so good for each one. I mean, look at this right here, Dakin. You have the right idea. Some deep mahogany.
Yeah.
We all know the vibes. We know what it's gonna be. Okay, cool. So we know your vinyl setup. That was categorically easy. Next question. What's new for your vinyl collection? What's the newest thing you got?
I was trying to remember what my newest thing was. Okay. I think it's the Planet Zoo one that I have up here. Where is it there? That one that's kind of tucked in at the back there. The lovely folks at Frontier sent me a Planet Zoo vinyl soundtrack for the Planet Zoo 2-year anniversary.
That's so dope.
Year. So I listened to the Planet Zoo soundtrack all the time. They did like a lo-fi sounds of summer like remix thing of like most of the tracks on the soundtrack, which I listened to for working a lot. And yeah, it's got like a whole mixture of the different tracks that you hear in game, the ones that play over the speakers and stuff. And it's a nice little like celebratory thing. So I was like stoked to get that because I was not expecting it at all. And
Oh, they never
do
told you.
amazing,
They
like,
just sent it in
no,
surprise.
they just send stuff. Things show up, and I'm like, "What is this? Oh, it's more Planet Zoo stuff." And that was a really nice surprise. So,
Did you do like a
yeah.
live unboxing for the stream?
I don't remember. I think it was in a time when I was like taking some time off stream because I wasn't well. So I definitely took pictures and like posted it online and stuff. But I think it was one of the ones that showed up when I was in a little break period. Because they send things out for every like DLC pack that they do. So I get packages from them like 4 times a year or something, 4 or 5 times a
It's a
year.
surprise.
So yeah.
You know
It's
what?
great.
They sent me. Well, I didn't send it. I got it from them at the show floor. They sent me this right here.
Yes.
Planet Zoo elephant right there.
Yes, I have a zebra. You can just see it down in there. That's a zebra. Planet
Way
Zoo
back there?
zebra.
Can
So,
kind of make it
yeah.
out. You can kind of
Yeah.
see it. It looks good.
It's down in there.
Yeah, I like that. They're such a nice team. I've known the past CM who moved on and the current CM, and whenever I see them at shows, they're always willing to discuss. It's never in a hurry. You can tell they love their games too. And as creators, we love people who love the games they're involved with. But I grew up doing a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon myself and doing a lot of games like that. So when they had the opportunity to do things like Planet Coaster, when I tell you this stream took a hiatus for a long time from anything else and we just did Planet Coaster, it's just such serene gameplay to create and involve things like that.
Oh, my community will tell you when we load up Planet Zoo, it's over. It's just rock and plant placements for like 8 hours. I like fixate on tiny little areas and I'll be working really hard and ignoring all of chat. And I'm like just placing these things so perfectly. And then I'll zoom out and it's like a tiny little area that took me 4 hours to do and stuff. Yeah.
I was watching your VODs and seeing you play sim building games over the past few years. And when I watched you play, I'm like, she's just like me for real because the tiniest details matter. And you've been sitting there listening to the stream and you're like, I don't know, stream. Is that rock too high? I can embed it further in the grass. But when guests walk by, like, wouldn't that look kind of ugly? And they're like, the guests aren't going to care. I'm like, but they have emotions and their mood changes. Maybe the rock's too high. They'll think it's ugly. So I
go down at ground level and I'll walk along the paths. Like, look at what they see.
I do the same thing. I remember the first week I was playing Planet Zoo, a meme happened because I think it was the ringtail lemurs. And a lot of the guests who come in, there's some that are activists, right? And they had the signs, big signs that said free Moopy. It was just like the default sign, I guess, for everything. Just free Moopy, M-U-U-P-I. And then later on, I built this perfect ringtail lemur enclosure, and I made it large, lots of time and space. It goes around the park, and it intersects between. It just looked really good. And then out of nowhere, I hear guests panicking. I'm like, what are they mad about? And I see a lemur outside his cage. And I'm like, that's not okay. Put it back in the cage. I'll close it. Put it back in the cage. Whatever. And I start watching, and I watch it walk over to the glass wall, and then just like Nightcrawler, bloop, bloop, out the glass. I'm like, what are you doing?
The lemurs were awful for that. They will still do it sometimes, and then they get really cross and they go in and out of the boxes over and over again, and it's just, yeah. It has its quirks.
That's the best way to put it. They get really cross. That's exactly what happens. And the worst part is right next to the activists that are saying free Moopy. I'm like, well, guess what? Moopy's free now. That's what you want. Chat knows some things that I don't know. Look at this. Gray That Game says, ask her about the time she made wood fences for beavers. No way. Wood fences for beavers. Huh.
So every year I do a Fat Bear Zoo for Fat Bear Week. And I will spend Fat Bear Week, which is, if you don't know, it's where everybody goes and watches the bears in Katmai National Park in Alaska go and just gorge themselves on salmon.
Aww.
And there's like live streams of it. It's amazing. I love it so much. I am just indoctrinating people into the Fat Bear way. And there's brackets every year where everybody votes on who their favorite fat bear is, and then there's a winner that's crowned.
Of course.
So I do a Fat Bear Week zoo to celebrate every year. And this year, I think it was, well, last October, my zoo, I put all the bears in that I could fit in. There was no more bears available. So I started to put other like North American animals in to kind of like flesh things out a little bit. And I got some beavers because they were like brand new ones. They just come out. I was like, amazing. We could put beavers in. I built them this beautiful like dam set up in the river. They loved it. They had a disco ball, you know, all the amazing.
Of course.
But the theme of the zoo was meant to be like more natural, woodsy, log cabins and things like that. So I put wood fences in, forgetting that beavers eat wood and they chew wood. And I was like, why are all the beavers out? And I kept rebuilding the fences. And then I realized that they chew through the fences immediately and they do it actively. They don't like, it's like, oh, look, some wood. I'm just going to eat this. No, they seek it out and they try and escape. So yeah.
The game was made for people like us who don't have our zoology degrees, because we can't be allowed to go to the zoos and try to explain this to our directors of operations. Like, why are the beavers out? So don't get mad, but
Yep.
did you know that these little critters chew through wooden fences? What?
What a shock.
I didn't know that either. That's so weird. So your newest vinyl you have back there, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up to show off to the world. Is it still enclosed?
I have one here that I got out, but that one is like, it is precariously balanced in there.
Understandable.
There's like a book up there and stuff, and Bunger is obviously in danger if I try and get it down.
This is my second newest vinyl. I just got the Celeste soundtrack, OST. High key recommend anybody who hasn't played Celeste, but as you know, as someone who collects vinyl now, with no vinyl player, doesn't matter. There's certain games that when you listen to music along the way, sometimes I feel like there's not two, but there are two different moments I think of. One is a game where music is so relaxing that you don't think to yourself, oh, this is a banger. You're just playing the game and it takes you maybe 2 streams before you're like, you know what? The music in this game is really good. It hasn't been off-putting. I've been hearing it, you know, but not listening to it, and it's nice. And then there's some games you play it where you hear a song and you're like, oh, and you stop the controller and go, oh, that's good. What is that? And this entire game, no matter how frustrating it got, I found myself captivated by the music from Celeste. So I had to cop this for a repress, and I was very happy. You played it?
I have not, because although I love Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is like one of my favorite games, as you can probably tell by my backdrop and my like plushes and stuff. I love Hollow Knight, and everyone's like, oh, you should play Celeste. And I've tried playing probably the closest thing comparably is Super Meat Boy, and I wanted to die. So
there's the panic.
I've decided not to stress myself out by playing Celeste. I do own it, I think. I just think it would be one of those where I would just get more and more cross. I'm not great at super tight platformers. 3D platformers, fantastic. 2D, not so hot. So like there's certain parts of Hollow Knight that made me want to launch my controller, you know. So I haven't tried Celeste yet, but I have watched a lot of people play it, and the music is phenomenal. And especially when you get onto like the other sides of the game,
the B-sides,
and then the tracks change and stuff, like it's so cool.
It's a genius way of doing the music, where a lot of games will take soundtracks and reinvent them for a new version and re-release, and this game just says we'll do that with our new sides we have in here.
Yeah,
so that's nicely done. I agree with that 100%. Cool. We're 2 questions deep. So far, so good. We'll do one more question, then take a break. By the way, thank you all for watching right now. All of you here right now and commenting in the chat. Hello, Keen. Thank you for the sub too. Good looking out. Question 3: why do you collect vinyl?
I feel like this is a trick question.
Why? What do you know it's about?
I don't know. I collect it because I am very heavily impacted by, so all of my vinyls are video game soundtracks. I don't have any non-video game ones. Music in games means a lot to me. As someone who has struggled a lot with my mental health and stuff, I listen to a lot of video game OSTs when I'm working, when I'm playing games myself. I'll turn off the in-game noise and I'll put other music on and things if I'm like grinding for stuff or trying to do something particularly difficult. any of my community will be able to tell you that I always put the Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack on if I'm trying to beat a hard FromSoft boss and I get sick of the boss music. So video game music for me is one of those things that it's been really impactful in my life. And it's something that means a lot to me and has carried me through a lot of different phases of my life. Various different soundtracks have. And I actually started collecting vinyl because the very first video game that I worked on had a vinyl release that I worked on, and I got the vinyl for it. So since then, I've gradually like picked up bits and pieces.
I don't want to interrupt, but I feel like there's a major point we just skipped over, just kind of moonwalked over, which is the very first game that I worked on and what the vinyl meant to you. Like, the vinyl meaning a lot to you is fantastic, but I didn't know that you worked on games.
Yeah, this year is my 10-year anniversary of being in the games industry.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel old. And yeah, so I started out in community and social media management and stuff, and then I did like events and merchandising and brand and all sorts of things all rolled in. I did a bit of like blogging and journalism type stuff. I was the editor of a games website for a little bit.
Busy.
And then I went into like hardcore marketing for AAA, and was working on all sorts of stuff, but predominantly 2D is technically referred to as 2D visual assets for video games. So most of the pictures that you see of Assassin's Creed Odyssey that are not screenshots, I produced those.
Gamer.
So yeah, I did all sorts of stuff. But the first game that I ever worked on in a professional full-time capacity was New and Tasty, the Abe's Odyssey remake. And the first piece of merch I ever worked on is out of my camera view, but it's like a metal sign that was produced. And yeah, I got to
Did you say Abe's Odyssey like as in Oddworld?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
so dope.
That was my first job.
I
So
feel so bad because the things you've worked on, I'm working my way towards. So I played every Assassin's Creed from the old Legacy collection, except for the most recent one for Rogue, which I'm just finishing up. And I forgot the name of the other one. It's the one after Rogue, essentially. But I'm moving.
Origins?
Maybe the one before that then, because I haven't touched any of the new ones. I haven't touched Valhalla, Origins, or Odyssey, because I wanted to finish up the entire old collection.
The last one.
There was 4. I think you're right, because Rogue came after 4 because they used 4's world. Well. That was Unity.
Unity was after Black Flag.
What's the other one called?
I don't know.
This is happening live on stream.
Nearly 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh,
there's AC1, there's AC2, there's Brotherhood, and then there's AC3, which I loved, and there's AC4 Black Flag. Then there's Rogue, Unity, then there's Syndicate. Thank you. Great at games.
Yes. Oh my god, that's really bad. That was the studio that I worked at.
It's okay. We'll just cut that part out.
To be fair, it was years after that game release that I worked there, but you know.
It's okay. No one will say. We'll give Gray that game some credit right there, but no one else is gonna see that portion of the VOD. We're just gonna chop that out. That never happened.
We'll just cut it. It's fine.
Yeah, but I'm essentially finishing up Rogue and Syndicate so I can start Origins and the rest of them. And on Oddworld, I grew up playing, Oddworld, Abe's Exodus, and then Abe's Odyssey. And then I saw the E3 trailer for the new 2.5D special one. I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. So I'm making my way towards the games that you've taken part in. Just what you know, I'm going to get there. Okay.
I have a whole list. You've probably played at least one of the games that I've worked on. So like, yeah, 10 years in the industry. I mean, I've not been doing it for three years now. Like I'm kind of just doing the streaming stuff, the content creation, but I'm still working on certain events, things, and doing promotion and stuff. But yeah, Oddworld Inhabitants, I fangirled at them really hard at a convention, and they were like, do you want to come and like stream for us and like do our social media and like,
or do our social media and, manage our company?
Yeah, they were like, do you want to come and like be a professional fangirl?
We'll pay you to fan.
Yeah,
that's dope.
But yeah,
I love that everything comes full circle for you in terms of how much music is meant to you, and then being involved with companies where the music still means a lot to you, and then being part of projects where I've heard this music in the office, I can hear it at home, and it means so much about me because you can connect that to your journeys. I'm very similar in the same way. I have two decks. I have one deck of gaming music and one deck of just other music. And a lot of gaming music, when I listen to it, it's because I can identify what I was doing and where I was when I first heard it. And some of those memories are very intimate in terms of what I was going through, where I was living, if I was with someone else, and maybe even get me through tough times. You know, having my own little bouts of anxiety and just being able to play a game and hear a tune, and everything felt okay for a long time.
Yeah.
So having those connections to games are great. And I think it's cool to have vinyls because of the giant artwork pieces you get. Like CDs are cool, but it's like reading a book and going back in a time lapse. Like I remember that moment in the game because of this artwork drawing that you saw, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's also the element of it being like, hello, look, here is this video game music that I like, you know, like it's there. And it's ready for people to see, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I love that soundtrack too. You know, it's like an advertisement of like, this is where my passion is in video games because I have the music for it. It's like that extra step, which is again why my partner berates me for not having a player, because he's like, you don't even have a way of playing these. Why do
I
you
can
have
hear
these?
it.
Yes.
I'm the
in my
player.
mind,
That's
okay?
right. I'm the player. I take one look at it. You know, sometimes you can just start looking at it and start humming, and you're just like, na, 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 na.
Yep.
So I feel that. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we are going to take our first and probably our only break. We went through 3 questions and they went really well. So we'll give you all like a quick little 6-minute. Okay, nothing special. This is why you collect magic cards. I respect that. See, the trading card game community is out there. So sit tight for 6 minutes. Be right back. Elliejoypanic, more Wax and Lex, episode 3, season 1. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. I hope that you hydrated like I asked. I have proof. I have my little bottle right here. And I hydrated. I did. I drank some water off stream. If you're new here, welcome to Wax on Wax episode 3, Twitch podcast, vidcast, just talking about vinyl records with different creators and why they collect them or why they have them and what's they such a nice little bottle. Thank you. That's the first time I've ever gotten a compliment on my bottle that I got during Black Friday, I think, on Amazon. So take from you all of that. By the way, happy Trans Day of Visibility to everyone watching, celebrating, taking part. Trans rights are human rights. We all know that. So post it on social media, be a trans ally, do everything you can. Make this world a better place for everyone involved. So happy day to that. Welcome on in here. My name is Okaydrian. I'll be your host for the day. I like shepherd's pie. I can say that menacingly because I thought shepherd's pie and cottage pie were the same thing. They are not. Shepherd's pie, I'm telling you right now, that good you can get, not the frozen kind. Because I went to the store the other day and I saw shepherd's pie frozen. I'm like, hey, and I heated that up and I was like, it's just like everything else. It's not as good frozen. So lesson learned. We have a special guest here right now. We have Elliejoypanic joining us on the 1s and 2s. That's the vinyl. You can still hear it. Hello, Ellie.
Hi.
Welcome back. How was your break?
It was good. It was good. I also hydrated because it's important.
Yes. See, we know the rules right there. Hold on. What's a cottage pie? So don't blow my spot up. I don't know how to differentiate. I know it's different, okay?
One is lamb and one is beef, right? They're like different.
There you go. Yeah.
But it's confusing because I think cottage pie is lamb when shepherd's pie is beef. I think one of them has like mashed potato and cheese and one just has mashed potato. I don't know. I just
shepherd's
like,
pie has mashed potato with no cheese, I believe. Mashed potatoes with the beef with the.
Maybe I just put cheese on because I love cheese.
Should have put that in your likes section. You had cheeseburger, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that counts.
Cheeseburgers are my favorite. Yes.
There we go. So we're gonna go on to the next question. Question number 4, which is, what's your favorite vinyl that you have?
So this one is a very, very, very special one to me. That I paid a lot of money to import.
Okay.
So I've already mentioned how much I love Xenoblade Chronicles. I fell hard for the first game when I was like 15, 16 years old. It got me through a lot. I've since got I got the collector's edition of it way back in the day, and then I got the collector's edition of 2 that my best friends from the UK bought me right after I moved out of the UK and moved to Canada. And then when I moved to California, I got the collector's edition for part 1, like the first game, but the remastered version. and I imported it from the UK because it came.
Oh, look at that!
So, this was not a thing in America. This is, I'm gonna get this side. This is a very, very, very special vinyl. It has like some of the best tracks out of the whole soundtrack. The soundtrack is long. There is a lot of songs in that game. It is like 100+ hours to finish, as all good JRPGs are.
Yeah.
But this one has some of my favorite tracks, and the actual vinyl itself, if you've played Xenoblade Chronicles, you will know this. I get scared of bringing this out. I get all shaky because it's so like precious. It's the Monado.
Oh, it's so good.
So I had to have this. And I had this shipped to me. My friend bought it for me and shipped it to me. And when the box showed up, it's this box here. So it's vinyl sized and about 2 inches thick. And when the box showed up, it was in a much, much bigger box, and it was squashed. It was torn.
Oh, no.
The outer box was absolutely destroyed. It showed up way later than it should have done. And I opened it, and my copy of the game was absolutely pristine, untouched inside. So I was terrified that this was going to be like horrendously broken. And this was the only reason why I ordered it from the UK, you know, this vinyl in particular. So yeah, my partner did say to me, why are the ones that I got you not your favorite? And I was like, excuse me. This is why.
Can I just take this out really quickly and show it to you?
Yeah. So this is what I mean. Like, I could have left this one sealed, but I wanted to look at it. I wanted to see the Monado on a vinyl, and yeah, this is one of my most prized possessions. This collector's edition. It has like a full A4 art book in it. It's part of a game that's very special to me and a soundtrack that's very special to me, and I had to have this.
That is a gorgeous vinyl cover. That vinyl is beautiful. I haven't played any of the Xeno series. Having played all JRPGs, it's so difficult to play them all, but I keep hearing friends saying you've got to play at least one of them. Xenogears, Saga, Blade, one of them. But I do know Shulk from playing Smash, so I recognize that weapon.
So you know the Monado.
Yes, I've been hit by the Monado several times. Backslash is a pain in the ass. It has a large hitbox. That's why seeing it on the vinyl, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, but it also brings back bad memories.
Yeah, the US collector's edition is like a standard like collector's ed size, like an A4 piece of paper size, like a little bit smaller. It's got like the art book and everything in it. And then they were like, and in the UK only, you can get a vinyl with it. And I was like, oh no.
We were talking about that too offline, about the differences they have in collections from the US based releases and ones that aren't US based, and how originally the whole idea was it's an idea of marketing and what they think the American people will like maybe this cool hand-drawn art cover for this beautiful game won't attract the same kind of eyes here that they would over there, and so we get just the basic 3D model cover instead.
Yeah, having worked in marketing, I know that pain. Different covers for different areas and stuff, and like people not comprehending fully the meanings of certain things and needing to change words and stuff to explain things to different audiences. And yeah.
Sorry, Unit 27.
That was my biggest like splurge purchase I think I've done in terms of getting something imported. And the only other thing that I almost caved on was the Xenoblade Chronicles X collector's edition in the States when I was living in the UK. It had like a little USB memory stick that looked like the cores from the game, and it like lit up and stuff. And I must have been 18, 19 at that point, and I did not have the money to import a game from America then. So yeah, but this vinyl is so precious to me, to the point where when we moved house, this did not go in the moving van. It went in my lap in the car. Like the box did. I was like, if they break this, I will never forgive them.
I can imagine after seeing the box like that every time you move, this is a handle with care item. It's the kind of thing like liquid nitrogen, like a Terminator. You see it put in the little cryo chamber. Needs like 3 people to put in thumbprints just to unlock it.
Yeah. I haven't been able to bring myself to move my Abe's Odyssey vinyl from the UK yet because I'm terrified of breaking it. So
ooh, yeah.
That's in my mom's house. It's the only one I don't have here with me. Just because I don't want to risk it. It's too special, you know. So I need to like pad it right out and put it in like 3 boxes and stuff, and it'll take up half a suitcase. But you know, that's what I mean when I say like the music is so special that if I broke these things or if I didn't have them, then it would make me really sad, and that's why I collect them, because they are reminders, you know. So
That's a great way to put it too. Is that the reminders? Because I might be moving this year, and my first thought, well, first many thoughts was like my vinyl's got to be really protected because a couple of these, yeah, they can break and I can buy new ones, but those are mine and I got them at certain time periods. They're Kodaks. You know, I can reprint a Kodak or have a digital printout from memory, but the original one that I had, like, it's something special about it. It's a capture moment. I think I mentioned this last time for my favorite, but I'm gonna show it every time. But I have this right here, which is this is my favorite vinyl that I have, which never got a reprint, never got a repress. It was one time only, and you'll be happy about this. This was the first vinyl that I bought from gaming, and I didn't have a vinyl player. I just knew Rockstar's tendencies, you know? I just know how Rockstar works. So it was on the website, and it said, hey, Red Dead Redemption vinyl, order one now. And I barely had the money, but I'm like, you know what? Rockstar is never going to release this again. So I'm going to buy it, and just one day I'll play it. And so I even have like, so long story short, I used to work at Best Buy. And every now and then we'd have music listing nights at Best Buy to bring in our vinyls and listen to them because they had the highest high-tech audio. But we would put security stickers on them to prove that you didn't steal from the store, even though the store didn't sell this. So, I mean, that was a whole moment. I didn't want to get into that. I never peeled it off, but that right there is from, wow, March 6, 2011 is the date on it. But this baby right here is just delicate.
Oh yeah, I love the ones that are different colors. If it's like a plain like standard vinyl, I'm less likely to want to buy it.
Yep.
If it's a pretty color, I'm like, ooh.
Yep. When they say this one-time color and one of 200, I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't, but I'm going to. Got me. This is very special to me because, like, I love moments in games that just feel right. And there's a song in here called Far Away from Jose Gonzalez. Great Swedish singer. And I love his music. And in the game, when you cross over Mexico for the first time, Nuevo Paraiso, and you first get on your horse, they start playing that song. And I had never played a game before. Like, games have different soundtracks, but I never played a game before where I just started riding somewhere and music just hit the right time. And I'm just John Marston. I just went through hell on this boat. And then there are coyotes running by, and he's like, step in front of a runaway train. And I just start bawling. And I was like, video games are art. This is so beautiful. Yeah.
Red Dead 2 had some great moments like that too that have made me like, I unfortunately finished Red Dead way too late to buy any of the limited release merch and stuff. So yeah, but they did a similar kind of vinyl for Red Dead 2, and I was like, oh, I should have kind of got on that, I think. I think that's my biggest like gripe when I'm looking for these sorts of things, is that they are so limited and so difficult to get hold of if you come to a game late or you aren't there for the initial prints. So yeah,
I think there was an article that was released last year November where this past fiscal year was the first time since 1960s 1970s where vinyl records outsold CDs. And people have been talking about the up and up and coming up. And this has been that moment where that finally happened. People just started buying more and more and more.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think there's like a huge part of that is people who are collecting them, you know? I mean, there's loads of people that don't play them like me. People will just have them just for whatever reason. And yeah, there's something so nice about having them in your space and having a physical piece of media when everything is so digital now. Like, I can have thousands and thousands of songs on my phone.
Yep.
I have hours of video game soundtracks on there, but to have something that is like, it is a thing that I have and I can touch it. And like, one of my friend's favorite games is Transistor, and she has a vinyl for that game, and she puts it on and she plays it to chill out and stuff. And it's just one of those moments of connection where it's like, yeah, you could put it on digitally, but that is almost like an act of love where you take care of it and you put it down, you dust it, and then you play something that is meaningful to you and is like an act of self-care, you know? So yeah.
I am glad you brought that up because it's one of the things we mention pretty often during Wax and Wax is vinyls take effort when you're taking part of anything. So you're making a very deliberate choice to play vinyl. When you pick out a vinyl, if you go to like Spotify, you're saying, I'm going to listen to this one song on loop or on shuffle, my playlist, whatever. It plays in the background, however you want to feel about it. But when it's a vinyl, I'm saying that I want to hear this album or this song in particular that I have to reset back to a position because it's what I feel like listening to right now out loud.
And it's often like something that you listen to in completion because you can't skip. Like it has to be something that generally you like all the tracks on it. Otherwise you're going to be sat there like, oh, where is the next song? You
just
know?
looking at the groove like, is that right?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Can I just like put it here?
You get it.
Yeah.
So it's a good favor to choose. Question 5, coming down the home stretch. What is your collection grail? What's the one that got away?
I have 3 for different reasons.
You have 3 grails. Wow.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, because I'm fairly early in my collecting kind of journey.
Okay.
And I don't have a player, so I've not been like jumping on these things as and when they happen. And because I'm a sucker for limited edition stuff. The first one is very much a one that got away kind of scenario where it's the Bloodborne LP. I adore Bloodborne. It was my first journey into FromSoft games. It means the world to me. I have played that game so many times. As you rightfully said earlier on, the joy and the panic of my streams, so much of that has come from Bloodborne, and I owe so much of my current stuff that I do to FromSoft, and in particular Bloodborne. And I pre-ordered it and I prepaid for it last year with Best Buy, and then they cancelled the pre-order.
Oh no!
2 weeks before the launch, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, it was like a clerical error in our system, and you can't get it now. It's sold out. Sorry, here's your money back." And they're now like hundreds of dollars. And it's like, I think it's a 2-disc one, like a two vinyl like LP, and I'm furious about it still.
I was wondering why I saw your face change when I was like, so I used to work at Best Buy, and your face went,
It was Best Buy.
Aha, there you are. It was me.
Yeah, I was so upset. It's the only time that I have ever come close to losing my cool at a customer service person, because they were like, I would be mad too. And I'm like, I don't want you to be mad. I want you to get me my vinyl. Like, how is this allowed to happen? And they were like, oh, we can try and reorder it for you. And I was like, please do. And then they were like, sorry, no, we can't actually. And yeah, I was furious. So that's like a very much a one that got away. The other one, I guess another one that will be reprinted, and I know they will do a repress because they've said that they're going to do a repress, is the I Am 8-Bit Outer Wilds one. I came to Outer Wilds. Do you have it? Do you have it? I came to Outer Wilds not last year, the year before. So quite a while after it came out, and I played the base game I finished it right as they announced Echoes of the Eye. So I got into it at the right time for most things, and I have like my water bottle is Outer Wilds, and I have Outer Wilds t-shirts, and my desk mat is Outer Wilds, and I adore that game. And they did a repress, unfortunately, while I was traveling in the UK 2 weeks ago, and I missed it because I didn't have internet while I was traveling. And so they've said that they'll do more. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna set alarms. I'm gonna be so ready to get this. What is your Outer Wilds final story? If you tell me that you had it pre-ordered and then you cancelled it, okay, you've got it. That's fine. It's so beautiful.
So what you went through is almost what I went through, because 5 years ago, I think it was on stream, I ran into Outer Wilds and I was like, oh, I hear about this all the time. I'll try it out. And when I played it, I legit told stream afterwards, and this was like maybe in August, I said, I don't care what else comes out this year. This is my game of the year. And it's not even remotely close for the first time ever. And sure enough, the year finished and the year ended. I said, chat, nothing's changed. Outer Wilds is the best game I've played this year. from start to finish. I'm talking about the planets, giants deep, the tornadoes scare me to death, the people sitting and playing music and just relaxing. You getting shot out of the cannon happened to me. And for some reason, running into a black hole scared me in real life. I didn't want to get sucked into it. So everything but the music always kept me calm. So I'm like, I gotta get this soundtrack. Lo and behold, I go and see it for like $29.99 everywhere, but it's sold out everywhere. I go to I Am 8-Bit. And I searched, I'm doing Twitter analytics, I'm searching, and every year people are asking I Am 8-Bit, where's the repress? And they keep teasing, like, maybe we'll do it, winky face. And I'm like, bro, stop winky facing. Give me this damn vinyl. This is not a game. I'm done laughing. So this past moment, when you were traveling, I was there, and I had a friend tell me, like, hey, they're not re-releasing this. I'm like, cap. So I go on there, and I see, like, hey, as part of our Comic-Con thing, tomorrow we'll be re-releasing Outer Wilds. And I'm like, I've had their notification. I Am 8-Bit is the only person on Twitter who I had notifications on for, literally for this vinyl, because it is my grail, and I've wanted it. And that morning, I buy a lot of sneakers, so I was counting down the minutes and seconds, and the minute I saw it, and then I found out it sold out in 4 minutes, but my queue went through and I got it.
Okay, 4 minutes?
Like 4 minutes.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. When they did an Annapurna and a Fangamer drop of Outer Wilds merch last year, and they were sold out in like 6 minutes or something, and I got most of it, and I was really proud of myself. But yeah, I had alarms set and everything, and my alarm went off as I was in the car driving to Heathrow. And I was like, I can't get that right now. I'm busy. And I'd already had, like, the trip was really stressful. It was a lot. And I was like, I do not need this stress right now. I'll get it with the repress again, like I will get it eventually. But yeah.
They have to have a repress. They have to.
They will. They said they're doing another one later in the year. So there is another one coming.
You better turn notifications. I'll turn them on for you. I'm gonna leave them on. I won't take them off.
I will turn on notifications for Outer Wilds, for Bloodborne stuff. And then the final thing, my final, like, one that I want that I doubt I will ever get, because they're never going to do a repress of it, and it will be one of those that I'm going to have to pay so much money for, is the Death Stranding 3-disc one.
Oh, shit. I didn't know they did that.
I know you've been playing it, and I know it's your first playthrough, so I won't say too much about it.
Ah, thank you.
But that game for me is one of those where it was such an emotional experience to me. I played it at a really rough time. I really connected with it. Even now, I was literally telling my therapist, it's my depression game. It's the one that I go to when I'm feeling sad and I need to sort of retreat into myself and experience that human connection through a video game. Because if you've played Death Stranding, you'll understand all the themes are around isolation and loneliness and connection. And I will just wander in that game, and you'll know from playing it, it plays these songs at the most perfect choice times. Most of the time there's just silence, just the sound of your boots on the ground as you're running, and like you shifting your luggage around and stuff. And then occasionally you'll like crest a hill and it will play a song, and it will just be the most beautifully sad moment, because you are on your own and this music kicks in and it swells and all the rest of the sounds of the game just fade out and you're just left with this song. So they did a vinyl through Mondo, who sadly have had a bunch of the staff laid off. So I don't know if Mondo will ever do prints of vinyls again. But it's a three vinyl set, and it's pretty much all of the Low Raw songs, the Silent Poet songs, and the Churches song. And I listen to that soundtrack just because, I listen to it just because I love it so much. And I'm looking at it right now. It's got the artwork of him holding, what's it called? The Cupid, with it like floating above the hand. And then the vinyls themselves are like a baby pink, an olive green, and like a slate blue. And then the inside of it is a very spoilery moment, but it's a beautiful shot of a very late game scene. And yeah, that is like if somebody got that for me, I think I'd die. Like, it's one of those where I'm never going to be able to get that. They are sold out everywhere and have been for a very long time. I don't think they're ever coming back because Mondo is now like basically out of business.
That sucks.
And you'll be paying $200 for one of those online now. So maybe one day, but
I've gotten
getting
a
one
few
is another.
vinyls from Mondo, so that's sad to hear that. And honestly,
yeah,
I didn't even think about that, honestly. I've been playing Death Stranding, as you said. I'm in chapter 5 right now. And it wasn't until just now that I didn't think about the fact that, oh my God, a vinyl soundtrack. Duh, of course they'd have one. And everything I've heard are bands that I'm familiar with and I've listened to during my downtime. Not these songs, but I've listened to Churches in my downtime. I've listened to Low Roar. The other day, in my chapter 5 playthrough, which honestly, if I'm playing the game correctly, I should be in like chapter 8 or 9, but roads need to be built, and I know it's not content, but it's content for me.
Ceramics. You need the ceramics.
I won't start because I'm going to go on a tangent. But when I was doing a mission for the director's cut, I think that was added, to get access to the Mazer, the little taser gun. One of the songs that played afterwards was from Woodkid. And that was a surprise for me because I had heard Lore Roar and I heard Churches. I'm like, this soundtrack can't get any better. I freaking love Woodkid. So hearing that, and of course I'm streaming, so I'm like, am I getting democked for this? I'm like, you know what? For once, I don't care. I might just have to hold this L. I'm going to listen to this Woodkid song.
That is the biggest problem with streaming Death Stranding is the soundtrack gets absolutely destroyed on the copyright stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can appeal it because Kojima's been like, everybody should experience this. We're
really?
not gonna like crack down on you. Yeah. So I've got so many muted VODs where it's like, there's a song from Death Stranding that will, without fail, make me cry every time. Like, it's such a poignant one that when you get to the end, you'll understand why. You'll know exactly which song I'm talking about. And there is just towards the end of the game, there's a whole section with it playing where there's like cutscenes and things and bits of gameplay, and it's muted for like 7 minutes because it's quite a long song, like the full version of it, but it's at a really pivotal point in the game, so you can just see me like hiccup sobbing as I'm like playing this part of the game,
muted the entire time. Just
yeah. And I'm like wiping the tears away, like playing the game. There is no sound at all. And, yeah, I've found tricks and things for getting, in particular, that segment to be okay in the VOD, where if you cut it in the right place, it'll target another song instead. So it will mute that song and leave that one. So it's like you can have that moment because it is a long section through like very late game reveals and things that it plays through. So if you're watching the VOD and you're just watching it, it's like, oh, don't really know what's happening here. But yeah,
that's I'm happy to share this with someone else because one of the things I was telling stream is that when the game came out in 2019 and it was up against Sekiro for Game of the Year and Sekiro won, I had played Sekiro and I was like, oh, well, good choice. And they say, have you played Death Stranding? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if Kojima did I can't speak for it. I haven't watched a lot of the gameplay. I've watched the gameplay trailers for some VOD coverage I had to do for GameStop TV. Like, I don't know if I want to play it though, because I don't know if I get it. And no one properly explained it to me. And so 2 streams ago, I told stream, I'm so happy I'm playing this now because now anyone who asks about this game, I can tell them exactly what it is. Because the meme is that it's Walking Simulator. And I'm like, you have no idea how incorrect that is. It is isolation, psychological horror, world-building narrative. It is a completely different game than what you expect. And it does everything so beautifully. I mean, ceramics are a pain in the ass for sure. Like, ceramics are just the death of me. I've gone to the ends of the earth.
I go marching into the mule camps. I'm like, give me your ceramics.
I'm telling you, like chapter 1 through 4, I'm seeing them. I'm like, oh no, mules, please don't hurt me. I'm just going to go by. Once chapter 5 hit, I'm like, hey, yo, who's here? Ping. Aha.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. I need the ceramics.
It's one of those games, I think, that it's so if you didn't play it at launch, you probably won't have been aware of this, but when it was like nominated for all the Game of the Year stuff, I finished it right before awards season, so I was like having all these emotional waves hit me from the music whenever they were like played during these things are nominated and stuff. But at launch, sites and journalists and things were not allowed to release their reviews unless they'd finished the game until launch day. So you could, when the embargo lifted, you could release your thoughts and your reviews and things on the internet, and that was fine. But if you hadn't finished it, you were barred from doing that because they didn't want to color people's experiences.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who didn't finish it think it's bad. Like that is the general consensus. If you did not gel with Death Stranding and you didn't like it, it is a bad game. If you finished it, it's one of the best games you've ever played. Like, and it's so obvious from speaking to people why people do not like it. And I get why, and that's totally fine. Like, all games aren't for everyone, all media isn't for everyone. It's meant to be enjoyed by different people. But it is not a bad game. It has some interesting design choices that people aren't patient enough to necessarily see the payoff of. But the soundtrack in particular was one of the things that kept me going through it. And even when it was just walking from one end of the map to the other and back again and stuff, you will just randomly get these songs occurring. And so many people were asking for like a Walkman in the game. Like, why can't we have a Walkman and stuff like in Metal Gear Solid?
Yep.
Because it would take away from the experience.
I agree.
And those musical moments are like seared into my brain from when they occur in the game and stuff. And that is so wonderful, and why I want that vinyl so much.
The music hits so hard. I want that. That's added to my Grail now too. That's now part of my Grail collection must have.
Yeah.
And I think about it more now too, especially because I didn't know what kind of game it was. I didn't think about the kind of impact it must have had on people during lockdown when no one's allowed to go outside. I kept thinking about Animal Crossing, which I still think saved a lot of people mentally because some people just needed something to do and connect with people with because you can't go anywhere. And Animal Crossing gave you that passageway. But now thinking about Death Stranding coming out, what, a year and a half-ish before lockdown takes place?
Oh, no.
And now you're playing this?
It came out December 2019.
Oh, so it's like in the heat of it.
Yep, it was. I played it and I finished it, or it might have been like November 2019. But yeah, it was like 3 months before everybody went into lockdown.
So it hit even harder then.
Yeah.
God, just having somebody say,
yeah,
oh,
it must have been because I started streaming on my personal account in 2018, and I played Death Stranding before moving to the States, and I moved to the States and got here the day before the lockdown.
Ellie, I would have been in shambles playing that game. I would have woke up and saw all this highway. Someone contributed half the ceramics. I couldn't find 3,000. Thank you so much.
I'm one of those people. I would log in and my partner would be so furious that I would be getting like 65k likes just for logging in because I finished all the roads to everybody.
What a great watchtower. Thank you. Like, no problem.
There is literally, I have a YouTube channel buried that I do not use, and I used to upload my VODs to it. And my most popular video by a very long way, most of my videos get like 100, 200 like views or whatever. I have a video of the ending of Death Stranding. It is a 5.5-hour VOD of the final 5 chapters where I played it all in one sitting. A solid 3 hours of that is just me crying. And it's got 11,000 views.
Let's go.
I do not know how.
People get it. People who went through it probably went through the same thing you went through, and they said, oh, I'm going to watch this because I was there too.
Yeah, and it's it had a very emotional, like I had a very emotional reaction to it. Because of everything that I was going through at the time. And I know a lot of people that have had that, like a similar reaction to that, and have learned to have empathy through the game and stuff too. And yeah, like you said earlier about how like music can take you back to certain points like in your life. That is one of those for me where it's like these songs they just mean so much to me. So yeah.
First case of COVID was January 2020. Boy, that was right in time.
Yeah, that's why when they announced Death Stranding 2, he was like, I'll try not to predict the future.
Bro was spitting. Kojima's always on one with those kind of things. You play Metal Gear Solid 2 and get to the end and fight him, and you're like, oh my God, he knows. We're having chat AMA right now, so if you have any questions for Elliejoypanic before we end this whole shindig, go ahead and pop them out there. In the meantime, on the topic of Death Stranding and everything we just spoke about, I think people who maybe didn't, like you said, not all media is for everyone. I think as long as you give the game a fair chance to see if it gels with you the right way, and by the right way, there's no right way to play gaming, but taking into account everything, the music, the art, the narrative, the direction, what the game's trying to accomplish, there's one part I think that's underappreciated by some, well, maybe underutilized, I would say, is when I watch Death Stranding streams, I don't see a lot of people checking the actual datas in the mails. because Kojima's notorious for that. Playing Peace Walker, my favorite Metal Gear, it is lore heavy, but if you read it, it's worth it. And in Death Stranding, I spent time reading all those mails and data, and I'm telling you, that builds the world for you at the exact same time, and it's a different game for me as long as I read those.
Have you found the mail yet? That it's one of my favorite pieces of mail, and I collect gaming tattoos as well. My favorite games are like permanently inked on my body, you know. So one of them that I'm still working on is Death Stranding, and I can't quite land on what I want to do for it, but there is a data entry, and I can't remember who it's from. It might be Heartman, I think. And it's about the rainbows that occur when the timefall happens and the lack of the color blue in the rainbows. And if you can find that one and read that one, that is where I'm kind of heading for the tattoo, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. Because I love taking little moments away and little details away from things and finding something that's special to me instead of just being like, here is logo of game kind of thing. Like, I like to have something that is personal and means a lot. And that data entry in particular is about the color blue and what it's associated with, and then like some sciencey stuff about it too. And I never quite know if the science is real or not in Death Stranding, because it's close enough to real life that like I did chemistry and physics and biology and stuff.
This kind of works then.
Level. Yeah, so I'm like, I see why this is a thing, but like you've definitely taken a few creative liberties here. But yeah, that one in particular is a wonderful read and has like that emotional weight and payoff to it, which is kind of lovely.
The dude's a genius for detail.
So much.
Because I have seen rainbows so many times from just being fearful in that game and saying, please, not now. I didn't bring any grenades, so please just don't. I never noticed blue's not in the rainbow. It never struck me. I never just looked and said, you're missing blue. That's incredible. So I will have to find that and read it.
The exact reasoning behind it is definitely a spoiler for the overall game, so it might not have unlocked for you yet, but if you do come across that, make sure to read that one, because yeah, that one is a good one.
I'm happy you mentioned the fact finding too, because I'm doing Video Games Taught Me as I played Death Stranding, like the old, is that real? And one of the things I caught was when you first meet Sam Porter Bridges, the whole like being jerked back, and then it's actually Deadman who points that out. Like Fragile first notices, oh, you don't like being touched, and Deadman's like, oh, he has aphantasmophobia, and I'm like, you made that shit up. You made that shit up. And then I went and looked it up. Like, it exists.
It does, but under a different name.
Really?
They made up aphantasmophobia for the game. Yeah, because I also looked that up. I was like, is this real? This is such a ridiculous name for this thing. And yeah, it's a thing that they again took creative liberties to make it not quite directly connected to real life. And
you're right, it's half a phobia, I think.
Yeah, the chiral aspects, because chirality is a big thing in chemistry, and I learned about that a lot and did projects on it. And I
the Latin roots for hand and all that.
I out the story in chapter 2, and I was like, wait, science brain is kicking in. Like I'm connecting all these weird dots. I'm thinking like a Kojima, you know. So by the time I got to the end, none of it really came as a surprise, but the payoff was still fantastic. And everyone was like, how did you work that out from like 2 hours of gameplay? Like it was when Bridget falls out of the bed. That was when I was like, this is what it is. This is what's happening. And I'd got it, and it was great because I'd done sciencey stuff and I'd kind of like worked out some things. So yeah, it was really, really cool.
It's a fun game of theory craft, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a AMA question right here from Dakin who asks, what's your favorite art on a record?
Aside from the Monado one, probably where is it? This Last of Us one here. I can probably get that one out, but this is the it's the acoustic Last of Us songs. So it was like a limited press that my partner got me for Christmas last year. It's beautiful. I'll grab it.
Okay, you do you.
People.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Adrian here on OK Preview. I hope you've been enjoying your time right here on Wax and Wax. Ellie's gonna go grab vinyl, and guess what? She grabbed it. So we're back.
This one.
Ooh, still sealed. Let's go.
Yeah, still sealed, because this one is one of those where these will not be reprinted, I don't think, because it's a Mondo one, and I don't need to open it. I have the songs, but it's got Future Days, True Faith, Through the Valley, Take on Me, and Wayfaring Stranger, performed by Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker. So it is.
Oh, that's right. They did the music.
Yeah, it's their there you go. It's their acoustic covers of the songs. And the artwork is just beautiful. I'll like bring it closer as well, see if I can get it.
That is beautiful. Got the OB sleeve on the side too. That's really nice. Mondo does a lot of those. I love those.
Yeah, the back is also nice. They've got like some plants on the back and stuff too, but it's just a beautiful vinyl, and I really like the colors, and it's really pretty. I think the vinyl itself, I believe, is like clear gray brown with like blue speckles, I think. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't remember, but it's sealed and I'm not opening it. So
I feel that. I think that's actually next on my I haven't played it to playlist, because I stream 70 to 80 games per year, and it's like a 60-40 split between AAA and indie, so you can't play everything. But there's some games I think that are always on people's lists, like Death Stranding, so I'm finally getting to it. And I've always heard of The Last of Us, but I put it off and put it off. But now the PC release is out, which was a hot dumpster fire, but I still have it, I guess. So that's next on my list to finally see, all right, let's see what the hype's all about The Last of Us.
Again, not for everyone, but if you connect with it, oh my goodness. Also, I've just seen it's like a translucent white with a blue inner, like a pale blue inner rim with darker blue like speckles all over it. It's a beautiful vinyl.
I opened mine. That is correct, I think.
It's currently sealed, going for $250 on eBay.
Oof.
So, yeah, this is what I mean. I don't open things anymore.
I forgot my grail. That's right. I have one grail left, and it's one of them joints. So Deus Ex Human Revolution. I forget the guy's name. Danny something Olofsky does the soundtrack for that game. And there's something beautiful about the moody experimental music of Deus Ex Human Revolution. And I was like, of course, I've got to get this vinyl. It's not in print. Let me just see third-party reseller. $280. Have you lost your minds?
Ooh.
That's my last grail. And Outer Wilds being reprinted, thank goodness. I don't think that game, being that it's like, what? It's 15 years old now, maybe? I don't think that's getting a reprint, so I got to hold that.
Deus Ex? Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, Jesus, right. That's how I felt like.
It's like, oh.
And the thing is, I keep seeing it for sale places, so people have it and they're hoarding it to sell, and it's not going anywhere. But it's just like, give it to me. I want to hear the music.
Please, I would like it right now.
Yeah, give me the song. Like, y'all understand it right there. See? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the grail that I want right there. But I love that The Last of Us, beautiful artwork on that is part of your favorite. Well, cool.
Yeah.
This was a good show. I learned a lot about you. This was really fun. I hope you had fun too.
I'm mysterious. There's a lot of depth here.
Yeah, and it's not all back there either. We're gonna give you your own little single shot right here. That's all you. If you want, you can close out and announce about yourself, any upcoming projects, any streamathons going on, your socials, all that good stuff.
I have a lot going on at the moment. I'm Elliejoypanic once again, if you don't know me. Ellie or Elle is fine. You can find me everywhere under the same username. I stream 4 days a week on Twitch, and I'm currently gearing up for a fundraiser next week. I do fundraisers every other month-ish. It's my partner anniversary in April as well, so we're celebrating that with a long Spyro the Dragon crowd control stream, so come and try and cause me problems with that, I guess. And I'm doing things like a Bloodborne Deathless run soon, and like an Elden Ring randomizer and stuff like that. I do all sorts. But yeah, most things go on Twitter. And people are always more than welcome to drop by stream and chat more about this sort of stuff. I love having conversations like this. So yes. You're
doing a randomizer, huh?
Yeah, I've done enough Sekiro randomizers that I'm like, okay, I could do another FromSoft randomizer now, and I'm not brave enough to do Dark Souls 3, so I'm gonna do Elden Ring.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Panic community, get your clip buttons ready. Get that Alt X on speed dial, because it's gonna be a fest. It's gonna be a festival of clipping.
Yeah, it's for a charity stream, so you know, all good.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Ellie, for coming in here on the show and wax and sharing your backstory, everything you've done in the industry, your collection, your path to getting a vinyl, your path to protecting your vinyl along the way, and how much Death Stranding meant to you in a time where it meant to a lot of people. And I wish I had played it during lockdown. I had my own resources, but man, that game would have hit so well during lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe next time.
Great. Thank you so much for having me as well. This has been amazing.
Thank you very much. You can go ahead and take care of yourself. Thank you. Good night.